Hello, everybody, and welcome. I'm Tom Schmidt,
And I'm Tom Turton.
and we're talking with Tom.
That's it.
Happy Monday.
Yeah, same to you. Same to you.
Now, Tom, I actually didn't ask you this earlier, but did you have a good 4th of July?
It was fine. It was relatively peaceful. I mean, I live in a subdivision where you have several cul-de-sacs, and
Sure.
they really celebrated the 4th of July.
Oh, yeah.
So all I had to do was kind of sit and listen or sit and watch, and it was just fine.
That's all
It was a
right.
nice weekend.
Well,
Hope
good.
Everybody had a. How about you?
It was good. You know, it was, tried some new places.
Ah,
A lot of fun.
okay.
Well, went to the Moxie's rooftop
Oh,
Friday night.
Okay, very good.
That was a good idea.
Mm-hmm.
Went with some friends, and, you know, you go downtown Springfield over the summertime, it's crowded, but it's not, busting out of the seams.
Right,
Crowded.
right.
The fall, winter, springtime, kids are in school, students are back. It's crazy.
Yeah,
Crazy busy.
it's not claustrophobic like it can be. So
No.
it's a good time to visit downtown, see the things they have to offer.
It is. It's busy to where it's active.
Yep.
Stuff's going on. There's still some life there. But it's not like, oh my gosh, I can't find a parking spot.
That's the biggest problem of downtown.
Exactly.
Finding a parking spot that's close to where you want to go.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously
Oh, yeah.
there are some, but they're usually I have to walk 5 blocks then to get to where I want to go.
Yeah. But it was good Friday night. And then Sunday, friends of mine were staying at the Vandevort
Ah,
at downtown. And so we went, hung out, met them for a dinner, went to Civil Kitchen.
mm-hmm.
Good place. And then there was a bar downtown called the JOB
Okay,
Public House.
all right.
It's got some history to it. It used to be called, there were 2 places, same ownership. It's fascinating, Springfield history.
Oh yeah.
There used to be 2 places. They tore down one. It was across the street.
Okay.
And this isn't far from the Vanderbilt Hotel. And it was called Grad School, the place they
remember
tore
grad
down.
school,
Grad School,
yes.
right.
Mhm.
Well, so they tore that building down, I guess, and now it's a parking lot. Go figure.
Right.
And what they did, though, they kept the door from grad school,
Okay.
and that's the door you walk through when you go to job
Yeah.
powerhouse. And so when you're walking through the door, it says grad school on the door, and there's a moment there.
Yes.
You're walking out of grad school into the job.
That's
public
kind
house.
of nice. A nice flow.
It is.
Very good.
That was a good idea from the folks there at the
Yeah.
job public house.
Yeah. I
was
hope they still have good burgers and things.
The food looked good.
Good.
Yeah.
I haven't been there yet, but I've been to grad school.
Okay. Yeah.
The restaurant, not the actual grad school.
Right. Man. Well, I'm sure you could pass any grad school at this point. You know, Tom, you see those folks, the older folks that they go back to school
Yeah.
years later.
Oh yeah.
Folks in their 80s or 90s
Yes.
going back to graduate. Did you ever consider going back to school after you graduated? Or once you graduated, you said, I'm done, I'm not going back?
Not necessarily go back to school, to get letters added onto my name or anything like that.
Yeah.
The way I like to study is I like to study that. It's like I'll say I would like to learn to speak Spanish. Well, I'm going to go to Spanish.
Oh, sure.
I'm going to do that, but I don't want to do all the other things involved around it, and I would rather kind of do it on my time. So, yeah, school is absolutely it's a brilliant thing to do, and there may come a time yet where I go, I'm going to go back to school and study such and such. It's always good to go to people who know what they're doing to show you how to do something.
That's true.
Yeah. Yeah.
Well,
Are you going to go back at all?
no.
Have you thought about it?
no, not now.
You're done.
Yeah.
For right now.
The current thinking right now is no.
Okay.
20 years from now, maybe that'll change. I don't know. But right now,
Okay.
no interest.
That's fair.
Yeah.
That-
Had my
that's
fill,
fair.
still fresh on the heels.
That's fair.
No.
I don't want to live in a fraternity house or anything.
No.
I lived in a former
what?
one. I don't want to live in an actual one.
You might fit in, though. Might be kind of fun for you, Tom.
Yeah. Yeah. I think there's an old Bing Crosby movie about something like that. But no.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Or back to school.
Yeah.
Rodney Dangerfield, I think.
Dangerfield.
Yeah,
Now,
right.
I could do that more than yes. Yeah.
Funny. All right. Well, a lot of people noticed yesterday afternoon. Here locally, we had a ton of rain.
Yeah, oh, yeah.
Now, you live on the west side of town.
I do. Didn't
Okay.
get much. It was more or less sprinkles or, oh, okay, I've got to wipe off the patio.
Yeah.
floor.
And it was just interesting. It was really the east side of town. Big differences there between the west side and the east side.
Oh, yeah. I know amounts, and
It's a lot.
I could hear thunder just rolling and rolling and roll. It was
Yeah.
almost like nonstop. I didn't see any flashes of lightning. I just
Sure.
heard that sound. And of course, I looked at radar to see where everything was moving. And yeah, over on the east side, a lot of rain in some places that I wasn't even aware of until this morning.
No. A lot. I mean, Turner's, just east of Springfield, picked up almost 5 inches of
Yeah.
rain.
And that was
It's a
in a
lot.
fairly rapid amount of time, correct?
About an hour.
Yeah,
That's
a lot
fast.
of rain. Well, think of 5 inches over that area. That's a lot of water.
That's a lot. And Highway 65, all up and down, really, the east side of Springfield, just saw 3, 4, 5 inches of rainfall.
We
It
had
was a
some
lot.
in Springfield too. A few places that picked up some
Yeah.
several inches.
Yeah, had some street flooding. They dealt with some flash flooding here on the local scale.
Right. Oh
Even
yeah.
here at home.
Yeah, and it's something that you don't always realize. You say, "Oh, we're going to have 2 inches of rain." That's fine. That's at a point.
Yeah.
But water moves, and that 2 inches of rain at a point that's low is a gathering place.
Oh, yeah.
Now it becomes 3 feet of water
Yeah,
because
exactly.
it's gathering water from a huge area.
Yeah, we had reports of, there's a retirement community up on, is it Watermill?
Valley Watermill?
Valley Watermill Road.
Yeah.
It had water up in the front, the front
Okay.
door spot. Had reports on Lone Pine, of course, down to the Galloway neighborhood.
Right.
That's a culprit for flooding. They had some water covering some structures down there, I guess.
Well, you also get the especially railroad overpasses where you go under.
Oh, sure.
Some on
Yeah.
Glenstone, some out on Division. I don't think the one out
Yeah.
on Division was bothered because that was more west. I don't
Mm-hmm.
know if the one, what is it, Glenstone and probably on the other side of Commercial. It's a railroad bridge anyway.
Yeah, right.
And that many times it's a place that water loves to gather.
Yeah, sure does.
And people think they can drive through it, and then they find out they can't.
No, you can't. You can't do
Yeah.
that. Can't do that. Yeah, there was some flooding over on Sunshine Street.
Yeah.
Sunshine, or Jamie Warner, driving into work Sunday afternoon. He was working for Matt Sunday,
Uh-huh.
and he took some pictures, had some video of some pretty high water.
You know it's pretty high water if someone like Jamie is going to stop and take pictures.
Oh yeah,
Because it's not the
Yeah.
first time he's seen high water.
no,
Yeah.
not at all. And of course, we saw it on a very local scale here.
Yes.
The flood risk. Flooding's been in the headlines a lot from the holiday weekend
Yes.
down in
to
central Texas.
Yes.
Yeah, a lot of rain, a foot, if not more, in several places.
And we're talking in just a few minutes. It's not like it happened overnight, an 8-hour period. I can't even remember what the amounts they were talking in an hour.
Yeah. Rainfall rates, I want to say they were, it was over 5, I think.
Yes, it was.
5 to 7, somewhere in there.
I was thinking more around 9 inches in some areas. Doesn't make any difference.
No.
What happened, though, it's the flash floods. It's not how much rain you get at one point.
Right.
And, that's the thing you have to remember.
Yeah. And, okay, have you seen, this kind of raises a point, I guess, just kind of leads us into the weeds a little
All right.
on this. Did you see the video of, it seems like folks are trying to point the finger at someone like, whose fault is this? I've seen a couple claims, a couple
Yeah.
people, passing the blame around, trying to figure out where'd this come from. Well, the fact is, it's Mother Nature. It's
is.
an excessive rainfall event, something they haven't seen in several years, some folks probably ever
True.
in their life.
Well,
down
they
there.
call it a century, a century flood, that sort
Yeah.
of thing. Forgetting, of course, that now that it's happened, a century starts again. It can happen in 3 days.
Yeah, it sure
It
could,
doesn't
yeah.
mean you have to wait 100 years for it to happen
No.
again. But it was like the perfect storm for disaster. It
Yeah, it
started
was.
accumulating late at night, early morning, whatever it was, about 3 a.m. I think it was.
Yeah, it was overnight Thursday
Yes.
into Friday morning. Yeah.
Right, but it's where it was by a river. It's in an area that's known to flood.
Yeah.
I think there have been drought conditions there for a while.
Long time.
Right.
Yep.
So the ground couldn't absorb it quickly enough. It's going to go to the low spot, which is where a river is. And that's where it all ran, and it got there very, very quickly. When
It did.
When there are flash flood warnings or watches, you need to pay attention. You really do. I've been caught in 2 years ago.
Now, I remember, yeah, you were mentioning that. What can you tell us about that? Well, because you're in the water
Yes, I was.
itself.
Yes, I was. I wish I could remember the year exactly.
Sure.
It would have been in the 70s. It was when the plaza in Kansas City flooded, the big
Okay.
flood they had there.
All right.
And I was in the Plaza Theater. And the usher came down and said, "Folks, you can stay and watch the movie if you want." It was MacArthur. I can remember it to this
Okay.
day. But we have water coming in the lobby. Okay, now, of course, you go in the lobby, and then you have the rake of the theater going down with all the seats. So we're walking up to get to the lobby. There's water rushing by our feet.
In the lobby of the movie theater.
This was in the downward, the aisles to get out
Oh
of the
my
theater.
gosh.
We got out into
Wow.
the lobby. It was about ankle deep, a little bit farther.
Man.
Got to the door, went, I would say it wasn't even half of the block, up to the corner, went the wrong way.
Yeah.
Turned around, came back. Now we're waist high in that water. When the National Weather Service says flash flood, flash really is the operative word. Went from ankle to knee deep in 5 minutes.
Wow.
That flash flood, it dug in-ground swimming pools out of the ground and things, moved those big mansions that you find outside of the plaza in Kansas City.
Oh, man.
21 people died. I believe it's 21.
Yeah.
Died in that. Cars were swept away and swept into underground garages. And so flash flood is real. It's there. It's that fast. And if you don't prepare ahead of time, you can easily get caught.
Yeah, I can see that being true. That would be kind of scary.
Yeah.
Wading through those waters,
Yeah, it is.
not knowing, I imagine murky, not clean water,
No.
right?
No.
Can't see if am I going to step on something?
Well, it was Brush Creek that overflowed. Now, Brush Creek at that time, normally, on just a dry July, August, whatever day,
Oh,
you
yeah.
could put your foot where your foot would be in the water, but your toes would be out one side and your heel might be out the other.
Oh, so real small.
So it was a little bitty,
Tiny little creek,
and
okay.
it was about yay wide. Not then. I believe if you go to the plaza, even now, they still have high water marks that are, well above your head when you're in the plaza. And Brush Creek was below the plaza still,
Oh, I
so
see.
it had to fill that basin and then come up even higher.
Wow.
Yeah, it's amazing.
That's wild.
Yeah.
What was the second time?
Second time was in a campground.
A campground.
It was
Okay.
in a campground.
Still here in Missouri?
It was at Onondaga State Park.
Okay.
Okay, so you go east on 44 Highway.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
And there were thunderstorms going on, and we were all camped, my family and I. And thunder started getting pretty heavy. And I felt some water hitting me. I'm sleeping. This is overnight again. Hitting me, and I go, oh, and I look up, and the top of the tent is bowed from the weight of the water. So I go, oh, God. And I push it off, and then the corner pole falls
Oh,
outside.
yeah.
Okay, so I've got to get out there. I stepped over the transom into water that was just about up to the transom.
Oh.
And it's like, okay, everybody got to get out. And we grabbed kids, and as soon as I stepped out of the tent, it was swept away. Absolutely, just
Wow.
gone. But that happened to campgrounds all around us. We were right near a creek. We
Yeah.
were in a campground. It was low, but it was basically a valley kind of setup.
Sure.
And it was there, boom, that fast. It swept cars away from the campgrounds. Of course, tents all over the place. It just swept away. We ran up to the the shower houses they have, the restrooms and things.
Yeah.
And it looked like Armageddon. People with blankets and in their underwear because they just had to get to high ground as quickly as they could. That's kind of the way it was.
Yeah, just kind of a mad dash. Grab what you can and get out.
That's it exactly.
Yeah.
That's what it was. And you stand there watching these things happening, and you can't do anything about it because when water moves, it moves, and it carries a lot of force.
Yeah, it moves you too.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Pretty
So
crazy.
you have to pay attention. Is that step one? Pay attention.
Yeah.
If you see flash flood, watch, and it's in your area. The watch also means watch, pay attention.
Yeah, have a quick way to get out if you are going to be
Have a plan.
camping or something like that.
Have a plan.
Yeah.
Do not decide to spend the night in the low-lying areas
Right.
that are near a river.
Seek high ground.
Yeah.
That's right.
Mm-hmm.
I can remember one time, the only time I guess I'd been in any kind of flooding was there was one day in Oklahoma City. We got a foot of rain.
Mm-hmm.
Foot of rain. And most water than I'd ever seen. It was the only time where there were airboats pulling out of the church parking lot. And just because that was kind of the rescue spot, the coordination headquarters, and then they'd go down to the river, pick someone up, and bring them back up there.
Yeah.
But they just pulled them. It was just so crazy because like normally there's roads and like the schools nearby. There's a church on the corner here, and they just drive right up on that airboat, and it was something else to see.
Well,
Crazy.
It's also sometimes that water then disappears very quickly.
Oh, yeah.
I know in the plaza that's what it was. Huge flood, and you come back 2 hours later and it's gone.
Yeah.
It leaves all of its destruction.
Sure.
But the
debris
water
and
has now
stuff,
gone back into the banks of Brush Creek, that kind of thing.
Sure. Largely once the rain stops, upstream and where you currently are, it can go down pretty quick.
Yes, it can.
It recedes, but it does leave behind a mess, big mess.
Yeah, it can, and there are areas in the Ozarks. We have a lot of clay here. That doesn't necessarily absorb water quickly.
No, clay wouldn't.
And so you have a lot of runoff. That's, there are traditional areas in the Ozarks where you go, it's going to happen there. It's just, you hear flash flood watch, stay away from those areas.
That's true. Yeah. And we'll be looking at some periods of flooding today.
Possibly.
Exactly. The ingredients are there. Not for everybody. Same thing for tomorrow. Not for everybody.
Yeah.
But,
this is a summertime period.
It's summertime period.
It's not necessarily a surprise that we get them.
Yeah.
I think it's becoming a little more that we're getting more rain involved with them.
That's a lot. We're already saturated.
Yeah.
It's been a wet year.
And when you're saturated, whether it's clay that's too hard and too dry to absorb, or you're saturated, the water's going to go somewhere.
It can't go in. It's got to go out.
No.
Yeah, run away somewhere else.
Not at all.
But it's interesting. And, you think about the stuff that Texas is dealing with in that situation.
Yeah.
I know people are trying to figure out, okay, what happened? How did this happen? But it's hard to really pinpoint with a flash flood. The forecast was there, hey, rain's coming, flash flood possible.
Yeah.
Now, this was more than anybody thought it was going to be.
True.
Nobody thought it would be quite this large. But, in my thoughts, it's like this really isn't the time to be pointing the finger, trying to figure out, okay, what happened here? It's really just Mother Nature acting up.
It was Mother Nature acting up. If you have more moisture in the air, it's got to go somewhere.
Yeah.
And if there's more moisture, it could be more rain. That simple. I think the thing that they need to do is just look at things and say, how could we have made this better? And then decide to do that.
Yeah.
I don't need to point my finger at anybody. It's your fault.
Yeah.
Okay, how can this work better so we can avoid these kind of happenings?
And that's the healthy way of going about that.
Yeah, and then find out what that is. Don't care who didn't do it. That is too late.
Yeah.
Do it in the future.
Right. And our thoughts and prayers, obviously, with all the folks down there, the families, the kids. That's probably the worst part
Yeah.
of it all.
That's
And
it's
then
horrific.
the search and rescuers. I mean, I don't know about you, Tom, but I've never had to pull anybody out of the water like that, and that's got to be pretty
Nor have I.
traumatizing, I bet, for some of these rescuers and emergency responders having to deal with
I would imagine
everything that's
so.
going on.
I would imagine so. And a
wouldn't be
lot of the
easy.
rescuers, they may have done this in the past. That can't make it any easier.
No, it can't.
It can't.
No.
So
Never.
yeah, heart goes out to them as well. And we can all do better. There's no one. This will work every time either.
Yeah, sure.
And unless somebody literally fell asleep and didn't do their normal job, it's not going to bring anybody back. It's not going to help to
Right,
try
right.
and point fingers at anyone.
Yeah, that's true. Just work through it, respond, and clean up. Well, Tom,
Why?
what else you want to talk about?
There's only one thing.
One thing.
Yeah.
Okay.
Watch your pet's feet when you're taking them out to walk on these, on these hot days. Because think of it this way. Take your shoe and sock off and step down on the pavement that you're going to walk on. If it's burning your feet, it's burning their feet. So don't walk them that way.
That's true. Yeah.
Touch it with your hand.
Good segue. We'll just jump right in and start talking. Yes, pavement, concrete, it's a lot different than the air temperature.
It is.
And you said this earlier, and this is true, that the sun doesn't heat the earth. Well, it doesn't heat the air.
It doesn't heat the air.
It heats the ground.
And the earth radiates heat.
Radiates the heat.
That means it's coming up. And,
Yes.
if it's bright white, okay, the sun's reflecting off it. But the
Yeah.
darker it gets, it's absorbing more of
Absorbs
the
more.
sun's energy. So think asphalt, all right? It's dark.
It's dark.
Put your hand on it. If it burns your hand, it will burn your pet's feet.
That's
too.
true. Yeah.
So stay off of that kind of stuff. Concrete does that. Anywhere you're going to walk them, it's safer if you take them to a dog park, walk in the grass.
Yes.
That sort of thing.
Yep.
Or just be careful. Maybe you've got the little booties that your dog or cat likes or whatever.
Maybe.
But it may feel like it's very tough flesh and everything on the pads. It still burns.
Still burns. They can still feel it,
Yes, it can.
just like you and I. The numbers on that, if I remember correctly, I think if it's 95 degrees
Yeah.
air temperature, then asphalt can get up to 135 or 140.
Well,
It's a lot
Yes.
in direct sunlight.
I'm sure many of us had made the mistake in the summer. We walk off a shaded porch and
Oh, yeah.
we think we can walk over to our car in our bare feet. And you hit that asphalt and you find out, no, I don't think I can.
No, you
it
can't.
burns. And that's what asphalt, and a lot of asphalt out there.
There's a lot. It's kind of funny because it's pool season.
Yeah.
And so I'm sitting out at my apartment balcony and people coming and going to the pool all the time.
Sure.
Every once in a while, there'll be someone just walks across barefoot. Came out of the pool and they'll walk on the concrete sidewalk, and then they'll try to cross the street
Yeah. No.
on the black asphalt. And there's been a lot of times people take one or two steps and they realize, ooh, ah, ah,
Yeah. It's like
and just
everybody's
start
doing,
running, mad dash to get to the side.
everybody's doing the Macarena out there all of a sudden. Ow, 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 ow.
Exactly, walking on hot coals.
Yeah.
Get off as fast as possible.
Yeah, and of
funny.
course you've just been in water. Your body is cooled a bit. Your
Oh,
feet
yeah.
are probably cooled a bit.
Yes.
So you walk across the cement and it's warm. Okay.
Yes.
But there have been other people there. It's wet. And then you hit the street. Yeah. Ow, 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 ow. Don't do that.
And that's the end. Yeah, exactly. Running for cover.
Yes.
Crazy stuff.
And then you get into a hot car with leather seats.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Black. That's the thing I never understood. A lot of cars they have the black interior.
Yeah.
Your truck's got the black interior, right?
Yes, it does.
And it's just hot.
But it's cool.
It's
See, that's how
Looks cool. Yeah.
That's how you talk yourself into it. That's going to be awfully hot. Yeah, but it's cool.
Looks good. Yeah, man. Good looking truck there.
So that's why you have a remote start to start and get the air conditioning going.
Well, that's true. Yeah, luxuries of
When
today.
you remember it.
Yeah, oh, yeah, right. Not in like 2 seconds walk. Oh, I better start this. And you open the door. Oh, well, cooled off for 2 minutes.
Yeah, that's about it.
All right. Hey, guess what?
What?
We've got some weather class happening
Oh,
this week.
tell.
2 of them.
Okay.
Did you ever do weather class?
We did
For the
things like
mornings?
that, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so this time, it's summer, of course. Schools, now we're not going to a school.
Okay.
We're going to a 55-plus community.
Okay.
So go to the old folks' home. It's with TLC,
Right.
some of their communities that they've got.
Sure.
And we're going to be hitting up Coryell Commons, Veranda Vistas,
Okay.
and Monarch.
All right.
Monarch.
What kind of things are these folks going to be learning or finding out?
Well, that's a good question, Tom.
That's why I asked it.
The answer is weather stuff. Summer, related to summertime weather.
Yeah.
Summer heat, summer patterns. We've seen a lot of rain. Probably dive into the rain we've seen. Why are we seeing so much rain? What's causing that? What can we expect to see for the rest of summer? July and August forecasts?
Have you done many of these classes with the 55 and older set?
Just a few.
Uh-huh.
A few. Did some last summer.
Okay, just in case you don't remember, they know weather.
Yes, they do.
They have really good questions. They pay
Yes.
attention. They pay attention to weather. And
They do.
So to do these right, you have to be on top of your game. Believe me. If you've already done it, fine. Are you going with anyone? Or is Matt going with you or Jamie or?
I think, I'm not sure what the schedule is. It's midday. We're going to be live in the weathercast.
Okay.
Live in midday at 11 o'clock. Matt may come. I know for sure our Rachel, our intern,
All right.
she'll be coming there with us. So that'll be fun. Otherwise, I think that's it. There'll be a couple of us.
Okay.
I won't be alone. I can
Good.
say that confidently.
Good, because they'll eat you alive.
Yeah, they will.
I'm in that category.
Yeah, they will,
These
yeah.
are my peeps. Okay, it's you just have to. You have to be on top of your game because they will go. Wait a minute. They'll call you on it.
Yeah, let's say as memory serves.
Yes,
And then they'll call something from 1957.
that's right.
And I'll just have to stand there during the headlights. Oh, honest to
Yeah.
God, yeah.
Yeah. They're going to say.
Oh, you don't say.
When I was young, this never happened around here. Why is it happening now?
Yes, I've gotten that a few times.
And you will, and that's kind of the way of the world and the way of
Hard
weather.
to answer. Well, I told you last time, they brought up the question about did the atomic bomb testings of the 50s alter the weather for that time? And it's like, I hadn't thought of it. I hadn't lived that. I hadn't thought of it.
Scientifically, I would think
question.
we would always the above ground tests. They had to in some way.
Yes.
There's no way they could not have because it put all that particulate matter in the air.
Oh, yeah.
If you do it, that affects weather. But you don't. It's like I wouldn't even know where to look for.
I don't know if there's any way to track
statistical
that.
analysis. Yes.
Yeah, where's the data on that to
Yeah.
confirm or verify or to research it? I don't even know.
But that's the kind of questions you'll get.
Yeah, that's a hard question.
That's the way it goes.
All right. Well, Tom, we've been talking for 29 minutes
Sweet.
coming up.
Yeah.
We're doing this. I've got a new midday coming up soon.
Mm-hmm.
So I think now's a good time to kind of land the plane.
Sounds fine, Captain.
Okay. What do you got going this week? You did unscripted today. You'll be doing it again tomorrow.
I'll be doing it tomorrow, and then Wednesday I'll be out at Hy-Vee. And
Okay.
after that, I don't know. I just look at my schedule, and when they tell me to be somewhere, I try to show up.
Sure. When the handler
Half the
says,
battle.
you're coming
That's
here.
right.
Yep.
Follow
Call
me.
you back in. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
All right. Well, it's a good week for us, it looks like. Rainy today at times and tomorrow.
Yeah. It's a summer forecast.
It's a summer forecast. 90s on the way for Thursday, Friday.
Ugh.
Hot and sunny weather there.
Humid.
And humid. Oh, can't escape that this year. All right, well, folks, thanks for joining us. Hope if you're still with us, thank you for watching this Talking with Tom. Join us next time. This marks episode 3. Episode 4 is in the works. We're going to keep on building this, but for now, we're keeping it pretty straight and simple.
Yeah.
Just two guys named Tom.
That's the way to do it.
Chatting it up.
Thanks
just
for
talking.
joining us.